even throughout all of the ranks for Frost Death Knight, which is awesome. Above 55%, even towards the top end of the ladder to 2400. Again, a lot of these specs, we don't see any rogues or Frost DKs above 2400, which is telling of its potential at the absolute high end of the game. Is going to be more limited, but definitely towards the beginning and medium level, it seems like you can still make it work. Obviously, when you get to the top level, you're going to be getting a lot of Windwalkers, a lot of Fury Warriors, things that are very difficult to survive against, which is why, Death Knight is something I would love to see changes for, focused on increasing their physical durability against Warriors and Windwalkers. I think they still have okay survivability against casters with the Anti-Magic Zone and the Anti-Magic Shield, but it's definitely physical. And maybe even... I don't know, there are ways to abuse things like Chains of Ice and just run away constantly, but I feel like Frost DK has fallen back into that Feast Famine where it just one-shots or does nothing, which is not what I think they were aiming for specializations. So aiming to take damage out of their cooldowns, put it more into their sustain, I think would be healthy for them overall. Windwalker, holding still strong in the mid here, although it seems like that's quite a fall off from where it was before. But even at beginner ratings, Windwalker is a little bit more complicated than the other melee. You can't just kind of press your buttons willy-nilly and press the same thing in multiple times and still do maximum damage from my experience playing it, but I had a lot of fun with it. Now, as you start to climb with it, though, it's a little lower at the beginning levels, but as you start to learn to play it, you can see its popularity begins increasing dramatically. And maybe we'll just avoid the 2400 bracket as far as win rate, because obviously there's not a lot of players, but it jumped up above 50% win rate. So obviously, ideally, all these classes would be 50%. If the game is like 100% perfectly balanced, every stat for win rate would just be 50% across the board for every single spec, which means you're in a really good spot. Windwalker's in a really good spot. Still has some weaknesses. I'd say its weaknesses maybe are slightly different than Warrior, but it still has similar weaknesses. So that's why we see it trending in the middle. Honestly, that's the trade-off here between all of this, is that a lot of these specs in the middle have significant weaknesses. Ret Paladin doesn't have any weaknesses anymore. It seems like it's just a solid pick into pretty much everything, and that's kind of thing. This is how they could choose to balance the game. Is either everything is homogenized, so everything has access to the same tools, so it's just how you perform, but everything's homogenized, or you have rock paper scissors meta where warriors counter warlocks, but warlocks counter mages, but mages counter warriors, so that it's kind of like this flowing food chain type of meta. And WoW PvP has historically been balanced around the food chain, and usually what you can do is pick up partners that play classes that help you. So for example, warriors struggle against mages, so if they play with shamans are good into mages. Now they can pair up that weakness and turn it into possibly a strength and even that out a little bit. The combination of the specs help even out the volatility of the rock paper scissors meta, but where you see issues generally for WoW is when survivability is way too high on a specialization. I wouldn't say that's necessarily the case for Ret Paladin right now. It's just that it doesn't have a rock paper scissors clear weakness, except Arcane. I do think Arcane Mage is a clear weakness for it, but Arcane is so niche that it's just there's not enough specs in that archetype of rock paper scissors for it to really be noticeable on the ladder at this time. But Unholy DK, another one, I think it's obvious that the physical damage reduction should be buffed on this specialization. It still does, though, hold above a 50% win rate. I think I'm going to play some Unholy DK actually on my stream today. If you want to follow along with that, it's in my description down below, because I want to give it a go and see what's going on with the damage buffs that I got through. It's honestly holding decently well, still above a 50% win rate. But obviously, I've seen lobbies, I've played a lot, and I've seen where the DKs just get absolutely rammed by melee DPS, and there's really not a tremendous amount you can do. But its win rate is surprisingly still holding solid. And obviously this is probably like the 2 or 3 Unholy DKs that just always play Unholy DK that are padding up the numbers towards the top portion of this ladder. So maybe the bottom portion is a bit more accurate for the data when you're looking at a spec like this, where it's only a handful of players playing it at the medium to high level of skill. But I think Unholy DK is okay. I think it's just one little tweak away from being a really just solid specialization between Frost and Unholy, although Frost might need a little bit more work with its damage profile. Survival Hunter is still not a popular specialization, but I think that it doesn't mean that it's not strong. Obviously Beastmaster and Marksman I think are tough to compete with. It still does hold above a 50% win rate even at the beginning stages of the ladder. As you advance through the ladder, its popularity increases slightly. Its win rate starts falling, though. So maybe it is actually weaker. I mean, it's got the same weaknesses that Warrior, I would say, has, getting kited around, and its damage is a little bit harder to pull off. Yeah, its win rate starts falling off a lot. I'm totally off base with Survival. It looks like Survival Hunter is looking like this is going to be a struggle bus until you get to be the absolute best Survival Hunter. The one Survival Hunter is 2400. So once you're playing it at skill cap, you can get a decently strong win rate. But this seems like a spec, if you're completely new to the game, that you're probably better off playing Beast Mastery or Marksmanship Hunter if you're worried about that kind of initial success barrier and not wanting to lose a lot immediately. So survival, I'm trying to think of what exactly they could do about it to help it out, other than giving it more ranged disruption, right? Like your stun's a very long cooldown. Interrupt's not a long duration, given its limitations. You have to use a lot of your mobility to land your crowd control, and then you don't have mobility to connect to your target. Although you do have a decent balance of melee and ranged attacks, unlike a lot of other melee that don't have access to that type of stuff. So it could just be that Beast Mastery is overtuned. The pack leader obviously is doing a tremendous amount of damage on Beast Mastery, or you summon in the boars that proc and do a bunch of extra damage. So it might just be that Beast Mastery and Marksman are shining a little bit brighter, but definitely there's something about the kit, I think, that is more exploitable than Beast Mastery for sure, because Marksman does have some clear weaknesses. Enhanced with Shaman's falling a lot. Outlaw Rogue is holding out towards the bottom here as well. Still a surprising win rate, jumped over 50% at the lowest rating. I was really expecting Outlaw Rogue to have a terrible win rate at the lowest rating, because it's a very difficult spec to actually pull off. This is more accurate. This is more what I was thinking. It's gonna drop below 50% at the low end of the ladder, but then as we get towards the top end of the ladder, that its win rate would likely pick up, would be kind of my expectation. And it does. It jumps back up to 55%. So Outlaw Rogue is one where you got to put in the time before you're really going to see the payout for it. But I do think it is substantially weaker. I think most notably its defense has come down a lot from the changes that they made in the most recent PvP changes. And with those survivability reductions, that these classes that are just doing monstrous amounts of damage and mowing you over can kind of just crunch you before you start getting a lot of momentum. But it has a ton of control, so I do think in the hands of, like, as the best player, sure, but it's, again, why would you want to try so hard if you could just do it as Ret? Is likely the debate that you're going to be making for yourself mentally whenever
Alter time. Purge. Cancel. Replace.
Trinket used. Zoo. Icy veins. Power infusion.
Infusion down.
Trinket used.
Icy veins down. Poly, freezing trap. Alter time down. Head stun.
Trinket used.
Down. Blast away. Fittest survival. Freezing trap. Fittest down.
Busy at the moment. Hold on.
Guardian Field. Blast wave. Mage. Shield or invisibility. Guardian Field. Beast Trap. Poly. Death. Multi-sting. Dispel. False Notice Serenity. Bounding Shot. Scatter Shot. Alter time. Bound. Bound. Alter shield. Heads down. Freezing trap. Poly. Mind control. 6 seconds. Spell. Freedom.
Zoo.
Freedom. Divine hand. Infusion down. Icy veins down.
Icy veins.
Power infusion.
Power infusion.
Last wave. Beast trap. Roar.
Ice
Fit is
down.
down. Defense stance. Mage. Shield.
Reflect.
Sweeping strike.
Smash. Trinket use. Icy veins. Power infusion. Reflect.
Infusion down. Intervene down.
Smash.
Ice veins down. Sweeping strikes down. Pollen. Counter. Freedom. Black Blade. Holy Dragon Blade. Sweeping strikes. War down. Holy Blade.
Trinket use. Smash. Reflect.
Sweeping strikes down. Defense down. Defense stance. Camouflage. Sweeping strike.
Reflect.
Reflection. Head stun.
Smash. Power infusion. Zoo.
Sweeping strikes down. Scatter shot. Roar of sacrifice. Infusion down. That is survival. Intimidating shadow. Thingy spell. Explosive trap. Redeem down. Fit is down. Roar. Down. Fade.
Trinket use.
Storm bolt.
Smash.
Scatter shot.
Reflect.
Reflection. Master reflection down. Holy Thingy spell. Sweeping strikes. Freezing trap. Commanding shout. Dispel. Storm bolt. Commanding hand.
Reflect. Trinket use.
Slides down. Camouflage.
Icy veins.
Mirror image. Head stun. Freezing trap.
Trinket use.
Alter time.
Zoo.
Ice veins down. Roar.
God.
Sound down. Defense stance. Camouflage.
Reflect.
Sweeping strikes. Storm punch. Hex stun. Breathing
Smash.
attack. Shaft dive.
Zoo.
Long. Sweep fire. Roar of sacrifice. Holy serenity. Binding shot down. Intimidating shout. Multi-sting. Roar. Down. Holy serenity. Spider sting. Dispel. Purge. Sweeping strike. Intervene.
Reflect.
Reflection down. Holy serenity. Intervene down. Chat dice. Shindy spell. Storm blade.
Trinket use. Smash.
Power infusion.
Power infusion.
Sweeping strikes down. Vicky up. Defense down. Vicky up. Binding shot. Down. Infusion down. Survival. Sweeping strike. That is down. Scatter shot. Storm bolt.
Reflect.
Reflection. Defense stance. Reflection down. Sweeping stance down. Roar of sacrifice. Intervene down.
Trinket use. Smash.
Windy spell. Poke down. That is survival. Hex stun. Reward. Beast crash. That is down. Scatter shot. Betrays.
Trinket use. Reflect.
Reflection. Snowdrift. Reflection down. Betrays down. Intimidating trap. Chat dice. Sweeping strike down. Purge.
God, man.
Storm bolt.
Smash.
Holy serenity. Trap. Sweeping slice down.
Reflect.
Reflection. Reflection down. Holy serenity.
Zoo.
Law. Pommel. Guardian spirit. Chat dice.
Hey, they're putting all of their stuns on me.
Sweeping strike. Sacrifice. Intervene down. Serenity. Challenge. Hex stun.
Reflect.
Reflection. Spatial rift. Roar. Down. Reflection down. Sweeping
Trinket
strike.
use.
Icy veins down. Defense down. Sweeping strike. All time.
Smash. Icy veins.
All time down. Sweeping.
Power infusion.
Trinket.
Trinket use.
Veins down.
Uh. Yes. Can I control this guy? Hello?
You are. Your ally here attempted to match his power against mine, and paid the price. Now he shall serve me by slaughtering you. Get up, little red worm, and destroy them.
Am I supposed to talk to you?
Too late, friends. Nefarious' corruption has taken hold. I cannot control myself. I beg you, mortals, flee! Flee before I lose all sense of control. The black fire rages within my heart. I must release it! Flame! Death! Destruction! Cower mortals before the wrath of blood! No! I must fight this! Elstrasza! I must fight!
It's never gonna get what I come here for. Ever. Judgment gauntlets. Already have those though. Eight of beasts to complete the set.
Let the games begin.
Mortal's courage is to wane. Let's see how they contend with the true lord of Blackrock's spire. Burn, wretches, burn! Mortals are nothing to my kind. Do you hear? Nothing!
Has to collect the appearances. $47-minute queue. It's so fucking... And I still can't get in. Yes. Elemental's fucking cracked. Windwalker? Really? Destro. What about for healers? Preservation, 60% win rate on Holy Paladin. Fucking Holy Priest, man. Ugh. It's flag run, right? Just play objective.
Big heal. Big heal. Trinketed. 1 minute. Prowl. Dash. Battle standard.
Power infusion.
Big Hill. Final reckoning. Infusion. Freedom. Explosive trap.
Trinket use.
Silence.
Trinket use. Explosive shot. Precog. Trinket use. True shot. Incarn.
Forbearance down. Freedom. Hammer of light. Crimson Vengeance shield. Vengeance shield down. Divine shield. Damage stance. Stealth. Summer. Bubble down. Ashes. Hammer of light. Prowl. Freedom. Divine toll. Forbearance down. Justice.
Explosive shot.
Just forwarding down. Multi-stream. Garrote Island. Freedom. Barkskin.
Trinket use. Power infusion. Trinket use. Trinket use. Incarn.
Garrote Silence. Psychic Horror. Psychic Spring.
True shot. Explosive shot.
Windy Spell.
Precog. 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 Wings. Precog. Incarn. Explosive shot.
Explosive trap. Freezing trap. Deterrence down. Mind games. Hunter's mark. Master's pout. Enshrouded with pasture. Devouring flame. Purge. Autumn. Devouring plague. Crimson Vial.
What a fucking little bitch, dude. God, I hate players that play like that.
Dispersion down. Psychic Horror.
Using all his CC on me, literally. Hey, you have nothing now. Little shit.
Explosive shot. Trinket use.
Explosive Berserker wrist.
Power infusion. Incarn. Reflect. Trinket use. Trinket use.
Aim shot.
True shot. Precog.
Precognition down. Shadow pain.
Trinket use.
Baking out. Mind game. Tropic retreat shot. Growth freedom. Showering freedom.
Death mark.
Silence. Shadow mist. Psychic scream. Crimson violet. Freedom.
Explosive shot. Trinket use.
Devouring flame. Death. Mind games.
Did we win yet? I'm just killing people because I don't fucking know what to do.
Prowl.
I don't have any cooldowns, so.
Power infusion. Explosive shot.
Infusion down.
Get it off before I die.
Trinket use.
Oh, they're getting out.
Incarn.
Death. Freedom. Big heal. Devouring flame. Shadow trap. Death. No trap shot. Garrote silence. Devouring flame. Mind blast. Shift. Death. Death. Theme dispel. Fittest survival. Instincts ready. Entropic reincarnation down. Shockwave. Devouring plague.
Trinket use.
Damage stands.
Finally fucking won. I hate how that is now. I had to storm all that shit.
I have many, many wares.
How's that being sold on the auction house? That doesn't make sense.
I have an extended supply of goods for Outlanders. Return and peruse my inventory
Many deals for a friend of Grummel's. Like you. May your feet find.
Wait, is Comstomp still going on? We need to do Comstomp too.
I have calibrated my prices to be reasonable.
How many am I done? Bracers, belts, and rings. Bracers are done. New rings.
My thanks for your patronage.
We're Lulu in Georgia, here to inspire you to live beautifully at home. Driven by a passion for design and a clear point of view.
This particular game, Light has gone for a Turax Academy rush behind his wall. So if you take your third base on location, and he knows where that is, this is the best build against that. And Jaedong is doing that, but he's taking kind of an off-brand third. That's a tricky little third base right there. So in these positions, you'll normally think it's the one to the left of this that Zerg has taken. So that's a tricky one, because you might think it's the one to the left of this, and then if it's not that, it might be the other main, and then it might be that. So that's like probably the third most likely third base to be taken.
Exactly. So this is maybe 2 scans away and a really difficult Marine scout away from being spotted. Now, looking at that, it makes perfect sense. By the way, the Marines and Medic are going to push out across the map. He might be able to force another sunken colony. They have to make 2 versus this, right?
You're supposed to, but this is a slightly smaller force because he left a fire bat at home so he could immediately walk out. So you are down like 1 unit, but yeah, 1 sunken here is super risky if you only have 4 lings. If you make like 8 lings, okay, you're totally fine. So he might actually have some lings hatching, but you notice how he's kind of running around it. He's just trying to stall it out a little bit, so... as long as you just stall it slightly, because this only has like a very sharp timing before mutas come out. You know, you have to move out at about 5 minutes, and then you have like one move across the map and one attack before the mutas come in and change the dynamic.
Healer drinking.
So the mutas are out. Third base is up for Zerg. The turrets are going to be finishing in a very light style, right on time. Like literally a few seconds before the mutas can get there. Now Jaedong may try to loop around to the main base. The main base is pretty vulnerable to attacks. It's a big open area. Oh my god, he's going to kill that right before it finishes. Nicely done.
Ooh. You got to be careful not to have your mutas caught. Notice how Light is kind of zoning in the front here. He wants to keep the mutas out of his base. Behind the mineral patches is a hard place to defend. But if you try to get back there when the Marines are here, then the Marines can counterattack you super, super quickly. So Jaedong has to be on top of where does he want to go with the mutas, and does he have a sunken count that matches that? Because, like, let's say he wants to dive in, because this is not enough turrets to stop mutas, right? Like, this is enough to delay them.
Right.
But if he wants to do that, he might have to do things like add 3 sunkens and then go in. Because if he doesn't, Light can counterattack and possibly kill him.
There's a technique to making the mutas attack. I don't know if you know it, Artosis. I don't remember it off the top of my head. But, like, hold position makes the glaives bounce in every direction, right?
They spray if you hold position, but you have to get slightly closer. So you generally take a bit more damage. But, like, basically if everything's damaged, I believe it's hold position that people use to spray stuff down.
Right. And if not, if you were to A-click, the glaives all bounce in the same chain. So when you see the glaives fan out in a bunch of different directions, that's hold position. I think, if I remember correctly.
I'm fairly certain you're right about that.
Micro.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what it feels like.
And is there anything you can do with patrol? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know like the specific micro because I never micro mutas, but I like the 2 main things are them selecting what they want to attack, and then the hold position where they have to get a little bit closer, but it deals a lot of damage.
With certain units, there's slightly different behaviors with the attacks, with attack on the ground or on the unit versus hold position versus patrol. Like, for whatever reason, patrol on some units, they respond like a millisecond faster. And that can be handy. Like, if you're microing Dragoons away from Marines or tanks, sometimes patrol is better. Sometimes hold position's a little bit better to make them fire the shot a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
These technical things we don't really talk about that much in the game. By the way, the Den and the Queen's Nest at the third base, very interesting.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do because it makes it harder for Terran to time whatever they want to do if they haven't found that third base. We really should check where those scans are at. I really wish they would. Okay, and they do. Okay, so see, he actually did check that third that I was suggesting, and it looks like he actually probably checked the one right next to it before the other main. So maybe he was thinking that was more likely for Jaedong. One thing to note is the armory is being made, so this is going to be a Valkyrie opener. And the thing about Valkyrie openers right now, they're no longer macro builds, they're timing attack builds. Like, I've seen no one successfully play a Valkyrie opener into SK Terran and win a Hive game. I've seen it 0 times in the last, like, 6 to 8 months. It's like you move out with your Valkyries, you have this limited window to bust everything. Like, the window goes slightly beyond Lurkers. Once Lurkers are out, you can still do things like get drop ships and do some damage, but there's no long-term potential with the build right now.
Yeah, I mean, the idea with the Valkyries is that you're going to strong-arm the mutas, and they can't really do anything, and then you can win with a push or with a bust. But the problem is you're not investing in maybe the most important unit as you enter late game in TVZ, which is a Science Vessel. The Science Vessel will give you, beyond detection and some good D-matrices, which can save fights entirely in your favor, it gives you irradiates that you can cast regularly. And pretty much everything that you fight in this matchup, except for Ultralisks, in fact, I think literally everything you fight, oh my god, nice shots on that, will die in one irradiate. So you kill a Lurker, you kill a Mutalisk or more.
Devourers don't die in one irradiate. Tasteless.
Oh my god, why are you even allowed to cast the game? Tasteless.
But yeah.
But they get Guardians, let's think
everything.
Guardian, everything else, everything.
Yep.
So if you have accumulated a lot of vessels, you're extremely powerful. But you might be harder to deal with in the mid-game with the Valkyrie tech. So
yes,
he's got Lurkers out. Remember that hold position Lurker is maybe the strongest versus this style of play because the Terran has to push, but they could push in blind and lose everything.
Now, we've said a lot of things about Oh, okay. I want to talk about that in a second. But we've said a lot of things about how Jaedong generally doesn't get into the Defiler tech all that well. He's played an excellent game here. He's actually well ahead, in my opinion, right now. The Valkyrie timing push doesn't have a lot it can do. There's like 4 lurkers here, which that you don't want to attack. The spread is pretty good from Jaedong. He's got plenty of lurkers in his natural. He's getting into consume right now. So this particular game looks really good for Jaedong. And if he can keep up games that look like this, hey, you know, maybe we were completely wrong. He's really fixed up all the holes he had before.
Well, the Valkyries, they may all go down. Good save there by the Marines. That was insane. But it just doesn't seem like he's actually getting anything done. And Artosis, you are 1,000% right. Jaedong looks great.
He looks fantastic.
He looks much stronger than I expected. And he's basically gotten to that Defiler tech. The Valkyries are all being shut down. Looks like he's going to just go ahead and commit to these. What is it, 3 left, actually? Damn, that was rough.
He's made a ton of Valkyries at this point. I actually think Light might be going back to an old strat he made a couple years ago. This looks like it might be a 2-starport Valkyrie mech switch, which we haven't seen in years. It looks like that to me, because he was getting an upgrade on the factory, and there's no reason to get upgrades on the factory, really, after Defiler tech is out. Now, it could just be that he wants to play defensive mines. Maybe he goes defensive mines and he tries to get into some other production. But I think there's a reasonable chance here he stops. We'll be able to know if we see the eBay again. That'll actually tell us if we go to the main base. If eBay's blinking, he's going SK. If it's not, he's going for a mech switch. Yep, it's a mech switch. There it is.
Yep, there it is.
Dude, that is cool. Wow, this is a very old strategy. Like, Light made this basically himself, where you open exactly like you've seen here, 2-starport Valkyrie, you dominate the skies, you move around with your Marine Medic, but you don't do anything with it, and then you go into heavy mech, and there's like a lot of ideas where the Valkyries make it so you don't have to make Goliaths, they can kill Overlords, and they kind of prevent Queens.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, so far he's doing a great job. You can see that Jaedong was prepared if there was like a double or even going up to 4 drop ships that would fly into the main and try to close the game out. He was in a very defensive posture, but the reality on the ground is very different for the Terran. Look at the mini-map. If you didn't know this game that well, but we described how each of the races worked, you would think that the red player is Zerg, just looking at the mini-map.
Yeah, I think so. That is insane coverage between the mines, the patrolling armies, the barracks flying out. Light is doing this fantastically. Like, again, he's the best in the world at this. He made this strat. Like, I haven't seen it forever, but I'm so excited to see how this one goes. It fell off completely. It, like, fell off a bridge. Like, everyone was doing it for, like, 2 weeks, and it screwed up the ASL qualifiers. You guys might remember a season where we had very few Zergs. It's because every Terran was doing this build. But it just kind of disappeared. Everyone got good against it. You know, and there's like a lot of things that you do to be good against this. Like you do actually keep on top of the Valkyries. Like if you see them, you plague them, because he goes around and picks off Overlords. And this actually shows that when he was walking around with the Valkyries before, remember when he was killing Overlords and like losing them to Scourge? That's actually, it's closer to like playing almost like a PVZ or something, where the Valkyries actually, one of the best things they can do is to pick off Overlords.
Right. And then they serve a very different role. And look, Zerg doesn't know where the Terran's at all. You know, a lot of times you see the mech switch, and there's still Overlords on the map, and you're able to spot mines, but with the Valkyries out like this, you can't do anything. You don't know where mines are, you don't even know if you're being counterattacked, and you play this really oppressive style. Now, this may be the game. If Zerg can't salvage this position, like,
dude,
it's super bad. These mines are going to go off. The Hydras actually can't hit some of them because they're underneath the dark swarm cloud. Lurker comes in here from behind. He kills the hatchery that really mattered, the one that was planted at the resource gathering location.
Yeah, the radiates that he had there were actually super clutch to be allow him to get up there and get that done. And Jaedong will clear this, but Light's already on 4 base, and he's going into a 5th. And when you're going mech, if you get a tempo advantage like this, mech becomes really, really strong. That's why the mech switches are good as opposed to like opening mech, because you have this type of sometimes aggressive ability with the Marine medic while you set your mech up.
Yeah, it's a very tough thing to handle because Zerg has to be so good at turtling to survive the SK style that then when I guess this isn't SK, this is with Valkyries, but you get the idea. You know, when Marines and medics are pressuring you on the map, you have to try to play super safe and defensive, but then that frees the map up for the Terran to lift off all the barracks, throw down a ton of factories, and of course out-expand the Zerg. This is one of the most unnatural things, and I think all the matchups of StarCraft.
Yeah.
Is the fact that Terran can completely change their tech and take the map. And then turtle. Like, you don't have to push. Like, I think when people see mech and they think of TVZ specifically because of the unit comp you see here, and a lot of times you watch these pushes come out and there's nothing the Protoss can do. Weirdly, a lot of the games with mech, the Terrans kind of just staying back and mining a crazy amount of resources and getting a crazy amount of value by having tanks everywhere, because tanks mute a lot of the strength of the Dark Swarm clouds. Anything that's above ground is going to take damage from the splash from the tanks. And so, even now, you know, these lurkers, they've gotten close, but if they unburrow again, they're going to get shelled once more.
Yeah, he's not quite making his way in there, and Light is just expanding everywhere right now, which is, it's going to be hard for Jaedong. Jaedong needs to start attacking into different types of locations. Also, like, he's got to keep track of what the anti-air looks like, because an important thing you have to do, if Terran, like, overcommits on ground and runs out of that anti-air, like, you do need to be able to pull the trigger and, like, grab some Mutalisks to pick off siege tanks. That's, like, a really common way people can lose with mech. Is we already saw the 2 Valkyries were plagued earlier. I don't know if those got repaired. I know he killed a couple vessels. There's still 1 or 2 vessels left. But, like, you might want to think about that at some point if you realize that he doesn't have sufficient anti-air.
So, like we were seeing here, this kind of concludes that concept, right? It's very hard to push into anything with the lurkers. The mines become really, really difficult to handle. It's funny, Hydras, a lot of times they're the least good unit in TVZ. They definitely have their moments, and we're seeing it here now. Because the Hydras are the only thing that can really traverse the map and actually pick off mines. Oh my god, he's got so many queens.
Yeah, Hydras are kind of like a funny unit in the matchup. They go really well with Defilers because they have great range and everything. Like, you plague stuff and Defiler, I mean, Hydras just kill them right off. But in situations like this, just walking around, they have a bit of a hard time. In fact, even a mine hitting there. Yeah, there was a lot of queens that just came out. And this was one of the things I always kind of thought would be cool about the double Valkyrie, Starport Valkyrie style, is, you know, the queens come in pretty clumped up. The Valkyries have decent potential to stop broodlings. But, yeah, the one thing about the queens that he's made here that I find weird, oh man, his economy is not very good, Jaedong here. Like, he's on 4 base, okay, but I feel like I don't know if I like the queens here completely. They might end up working out perfectly. It's just, it feels a little bit weird when he went for them, because he's, like, busy attacking with Hydra Lurker Defiler, and he's, like, losing a lot of units. He's not getting a lot done, and then he's also making queens. It feels like a bit of a stretch to me, but I'll withhold judgment on it at the moment.
I do want to mention, we have talked about EMP versus Queens, and I think it's kind of like the Dark Archon situation in PvZ, where I'm like, well, that will just beat the Mutas, right? Maelstrom just beats Mutas. When they send the Queens out, if you can get 1 EMP, I think that you've won the game. If you, like, EMP a group of Queens, they've lost their timing.
Probably.
But we just don't have it, and I think there's not a good reason other than that players haven't built it into their play style. And remember that StarCraft is more than just an intellectual game, which I think a lot of times people kind of chalk it up to, like, an intellectual game with APM, but, like, the amount of APM that you have to have
Trinket used. Reflect. True shot. Surge.
Aim shot. Spider sting. Aim shot.
Reflect.
True shot down.
God, what a bullshit class.
Smash.
Oh my god.
Hunt.
Death grip. Hiding. Dash. Baking. Death. Sweeping strikes. Berserker rage. Charging run. Psychic scream. Dash. Storm bolt. Shifting shadow immolation. Shadow meld. Horse. Magi. Hunter's horn. Death grip.
Trinket used.
Renewal. Anti-magic shell. Sweeping strikes down. Dispel. Sphere shell down. Guiding. Bekiel.
Trinket used. Trinket used.
Blade storm. Blitzborn down. Spatial rift. Ice spatial war. Ring of frost. Success. Battle cry. Ursol's vortex.
Surge.
Frozen. Wild shell. Sweeping strikes. Frozen.
Trinket used.
Alter time.
Smash.
Alter time.
Bro, are you done being a little bitch? That is like a fucking envy for me.
Hunt. Trinket used.
Dragon breath.
Yeah,
Trinket
run too,
used.
buddy.
True shot. Trinket used.
Airplane. Freezing reward. Shield. Blast way. Intervene. Aim magi. Aim shooting down. Storm bolt. Death grip. True shot. Sweeping strikes. Mild charge. Mighty
Trinket used. Reflect. Smash.
You're not better than me in this game, buddy.
Aim shot. Bekiel. Roar of sacrifice. Wild charge. Sweeping strike down. Mage. Shield. Storm bolt. Death grip. Roar. Aim shot. Blade down. Storm. Aim shot. Scatter shot. Hands down. Pommel. Glimpse. Dispel. Immolation. Battle cry. Aim shot.
Surge.
Surge. Pommel.
Surge.
Shockwave. Nether shadow meld. Imprison.
Smash.
Strike. Presence of psychic scream. Asphyxiate. Horse. Theme dispel.
Trinket used.
Anti-magic shell. Glitch blade. Shell down. Ice lock down. Ice bound. Mage. Shield. Death grip. Airplane. Shell. Glitch blade.
Reflect.
Ice down. Berserker. Vortex.
Trinket used.
Intimidating shell.
Trinket used. Smash. Magi. Hunt. True shot.
Metamorph down. Spider sting. Body scans.
Trinket
Trending
used.
breath. Arcane
Surge.
Ursol's vortex. Mirror image. Mage. Shield.
Trinket used.
Sweeping strike.
Magi. Smash.
Immolation. Glyph. Anti-magic shot. Death threat.
This fucking loser, man.
Sweeping strike down. Shell down. Metamorph.
Trinket used.
Bro, what is this heal that this guy just gets?
Intimidating shout. Presence of mind. Sweeping slice down. Intimidating shout.
Reflect.
Defense skills. Anti-magic shot. Clean shot. Sweeping strike. Vortex. Shot down. Immolation.
Trinket used. Smash.
Deterrence. Deterrence. Scatter shot. Intervene. Aim shot. Sweeping strike.
True shot.
Acceleration. Tendrils. Multi-sting. Defense stance. Spider sting.
Bro, it's so cringe because, like, I know what to do, but then I have, like, douchebag fucking tiny dick virgin bitches, like that demon hunter. They got his shit kicked in every single fucking time. Sucked me off the entire battleground. Just targeted me. Even though he lost every fight, just went after me. Prevented me from doing anything, and they win because the rest of my team are so fucking retarded and incompetent. Like, it's I swear solo RBGs is the hardest bracket. This is a joke. This is technically fucking easy, but there's so many stupid people that play it that it's fucking hard. You actually can't carry in this. You just need to play a fucking holy priest that just puts feather underneath their fucking feet and run. It's such a weird meta. There's no tanks. It's a healer flag running meta. Like, it's fucking cringe. Come on.
That usually, obviously we're always fair, right?
He likes that little spot right there. The spot by the back door. Ugh.
The border, and that's really popular. That's what people are looking for. He does a lot of executive orders. Now, a lot of those in the beginning, very beginning, I disagree with instantly, but some of the later ones were more disastrous. But it looked like there was action. So, and it showed in his polls. He'd already had a popular vote, and then he added to that lead in his polling, and that's back when, of course, Republicans believed in polling when he was above 50% and popular, etc. And then what did he do? He pulled a Trump. He can't help himself. His authoritarian tendencies, to put it mildly. He loves to see the limits of what he could do. He started talking about the third term, started saying we're not doing due process, we're not listening to the courts, etc. And now he's lost people on all sides. The wild, outrageous tariffs, and obviously, Batia and Carrie and I had a debate about that, and I was right, and they were wrong. And so I'm curious to see if they'll admit that now. As I said, of course, Trump will pull back the global tariffs. They were nuclear and ridiculous, and people look back at 2 days after we had that debate. So now he's made a giant mess of it. I mean, everyone, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Patrick David, Dave Porter, and Joe Rogan, and yesterday, Alex Jones, all saying, what's going on here? Even they didn't sign up for violating the Constitution and due process and all of that, let alone the trillions of dollars he's bled out. I have no idea how to handle things economically. So, started out strong in the beginning for a couple of days, and then the rest has now just been a total debacle and disaster. And here's, I'm always amused by both sides, and you've seen me call out both sides live as it's happening. stats who are like, oh, gee, there's pollings in the 30s, but I bet it bounces back to the 60s. Polling doesn't matter. Whenever they're done, always polling doesn't matter or polling is fake. And now when it's like 39, 40%, and all of a sudden here's Jerry Lee telling us that polling doesn't matter or it's real. It's not it's real. She's one last night. 54% who said that he was a quote dangerous dictator looking to take away American democracy. 56% of independents, and shockingly, 17% of Republicans think he's a dangerous dictator. You really can't handle him.
And our base, okay, this is gonna be close. We need at least 10 gold. They're getting so close to the base. Okay, you know what? 5 will do. Let's build the archer towers. There we go. The defense is looking good. Nice. Wait, they're coming from the right side as well. I'm getting double penetrated. Okay, let's build the second archer tower. There we go. The walls are up. Nice. Okay, the boss is approaching. We need some golds here. The 15. Yeah, maybe about.
You are gathered here for my entertainment. I mean, to prove yourself. It's time for the show. Don't disappoint me.
Death. Sprint.
Oh, got him.
Trinket
Garrote
use.
silence.
Power infusion. Death mark.
Infusion down. Garrote silence. Kidney. Smoke on. Blind. Devouring shade.
Trinket use. Power infusion. Precog. Power infusion.
Vanish. Power infusion. Dispersion.
So close. This just
Dispersion
means more
down.
entertainment for me.
Counter. Infusion down. Difficulty. Shift. Evasion. Feint. Devouring plane. Slash rapid grip. Sprint down. Devouring plane. Evasion down. Feint. Chaplain. Feint. Counter. Counter. Shift.
Power infusion.
Feint down. Evasion down. Step. Alpha of mind left. Kidney. Purge.
Trinket used.
This just means more entertainment for me. Interesting. I did not expect this outcome.
Cloak down. Forbearance down. Sprint. Cheap shot.
Trinket used. Kill grounding. Doom wins. Power infusion. Kill grounding. Death mark.
Infusion down.
Trinket used. Trinket use. Kill grounding. Doom wins. Kill grounding. Trinket used.
Just stay away from him, dude.
Kill grounding. Doom wins. Kill grounding. Power infusion. Death mark.
So close. This just means more entertainment for me.
Trinket used.
Infusion down. Thistle PS down.
Interesting. I did not expect this outcome.
Becky up.
Power infusion.
Infusion down. Dispersion. Word barrier.
Trinket used.
Dispersion down.
Doom wins. Power infusion. Trinket used. Precog. Trinket used.
Infusion down.
So close. This just means more entertainment.
Oh, me.
Elemental blast.
Precog. Power infusion.
Precognition down. 10 drills.
So close. This just means more entertainment for me.
Infusion down.
This just means more entertainment for me.
Power infusion. Power infusion. Precog. Trinket used.
Infusion down.
Can't move my character.
Power infusion. Death mark.
Psychic scream. Psychic scream. Death. Infusion down.
Precog.
Infusion down. Spring.
Power infusion. Trinket used.
Silence. Cheap shot. Infusion down. Blast. Counter. Silence. Gouge. Baking.
Trinket used. Precog.
Devouring flame. Precognition down. Devouring flame. Dispersion shadow. Dispersion down.
This just means more entertainment.
Dispersion down. Devouring flame.
Power infusion.
I see
Infusion
who the
down.
strongest mortals are.
Evasion down.
For now.
Surging totem. Earth grog.
Power infusion.
Infusion down.
Kill grounding. Power infusion. Doom wins. Trinket used. Power infusion.
Tendril. Psychic scream. Infusion down. Surging shutdown. Devouring
Precog. Kill grounding.
Precognition down.
Power infusion. Doom wins. Fiend Fiend. Trinket used. Trinket used.
This just means more entertainment for me.
Sprint.
Kill grounding.
Primordial Ray.
Power infusion. Doom wins.
Infusion down.
Trinket used. Kill grounding. Death mark.
This just means more entertainment for me.
Rush
Trinket used.
Wall. Guardian Spirit. Crimson Black Serenity. Vanish. Sprint. Holy Serenity. Shot. Garrote Elemental Blast. Searching Shifting.
Kill grounding. Doom wins.
So close. This just means more entertainment to me.
Elemental Blast. Fade down. Wall.
Trinket used.
Cheap Shot. Garrote Silence.
More entertainment for me.
Cheap Shot. Garrote Silence. Garrote Silence. Shift. Cloak of Shadow. Difficulty Shift. Garrote Talon. Shift. Evasion.
So close.
Mental.
This just means more entertainment for me.
Evasion down. Faint. Crimson Vial. Upon the
Kill grounding.
Tremor. Guardian Spirit. Redeemer. Desire. Wind Shear. Earth Rod. Elemental Blast. Walls. Redeemer down. Spring. Elemental Blast.
Doom wins.
Step. Will of the Forsaken. Pistol Shift.
Trinket used. Kill grounding.
Blind. Vanish. Garrote Silence. Elemental Haste. Chief Surety. Step.
Death mark.
Garrote Silence. Shift.
So interesting. I did not expect this outcome.
Oh, assassination rogues are cancer. Did I gain rating or lose rating? Where do I see that at? They need to have a better fucking in-game system that tracks that shit afterwards. I shouldn't have to download a goddamn fucking add-on to track that. 'Cause I wasn't paying attention.
Many deals for a friend of the Grummles.
My directive is to serve you. My thanks for your patronage.
Close to 2100. But the next thing is 2100. Prestigious cloak. Duelist. That stupid kite being there is so fucking troll. Oh, I can turn in my thing.
What task can I perform for you?
Now I can get a socket.
I have an extended supply of goods for Outlanders.
I have calibrated my prices to be reasonable. My directive has been fulfilled.
Mastery's 48%. One rating off from Fury. That's crazy, bro. About to be the best around. I'm never gonna take it down. Yeah, update that shit, baby. Update that shit. Emo does look fun. PvP. Elemental Shaman is still slapping. Oh, Demo's still doing better than the other two. Not in Blitz, though. Blitz is... This is such a shit bracket, man. I was so excited for this, too, and I didn't know it was going to be... Man, it's fucking... The meta is weird. Like, you have to play... I don't know. Fucking weird. I don't like it. Enhancement, huh? Ooh, Demo's doing better on that too. Demo might be the next thing I fuck with. All right, I gotta change some settings. Let's clean this. Also open this up. Scan PC. Updating Google Chrome. All right. Let's go slap some nerds, bruh. Lame. Oh wait, I didn't do what I mainly closed this shit for. A new driver? Good. Hopefully this fixes some shit. This might fuck up my OBS though. Hang in there, OBS. Half-Life 2 RTX? Why? Game's so old. Lyle's return. Is this the worst thing Blizzard has ever produced? Seems bad.
Can we talk about paraxanthine? Yep. Don't confuse this with caffeine anhydrous or the other white powder that you may or may not have blown up a stripper's ass and then she proceeded to blow it back in your face. This is paraxanthine. The reason it's such an interesting potential alternative to caffeine is because it's a metabolite of caffeine. When you ingest caffeine, it's broken down into 3 metabolites.